Hey everybody, Bacon here. Today we're going to be doing another Bacon's deck choice of the week and then taking another look at the meta. So I will admit that I haven't been doing that much laddering this week because I've been playing in a lot of the open tournaments that give HCT points, trying to get my point rating up so I can make it to the winter preliminaries. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of tournaments, haven't been doing as much ladder, but still doing some ladder, particularly to get this information to you guys. If you guys want to see in the future, like an in-depth look at the current tournament meta, I can do that. But I know that a lot of the people watching this don't necessarily play in tournaments, so it might not be something you're interested in. So let me know in the comments if you want to see that, and if not, I'll just keep on going with the ladder analysis. So let's get into the meta analysis. The big story of this week is the fall of Reno Warlock. Reno Warlock is a lot less popular, and people seem to be losing faith in that archetype, as most people who want to play a Highlander control style deck have been switching over to Reno Mage. Less Reno Warlock makes Druid and Rogue similarly less desirable. This change hasn't really affected the popularity of Rogue on the ladder yet, though, and the fact that Rogue is still quite present leads to a situation where aggressive strategies become a lot more effective. Rogue has always been pretty weak against decks that go face. And while the pirate package has helped Rogue in this regard, it's not really enough to shore up those bad matchups. So I'm going to do a bit of a cop out here, and I'm actually going to be suggesting two possible decks for you to play this week. The first is a bit of a conservative choice. It's going to be great for laddering due to good matchups in fast games, but it's a bit vanilla. The second is a bit more interesting in terms of gameplay, but loses a bit of ladder viability because of its long games. The two decks that I would suggest to play this week are a slower version of Pirate Warrior, put together by the German player Kaiku, as well as a Control Shaman from VLPS. This Pirate Warrior deck list opts to cut out all forms of over-the-top burst like Mortal Strike and Bash, and instead runs 2 copies of South Sea Captain. This results in a deck that is a lot stronger in terms of board presence, but at the expense of lacking any finishers that can go over taunt. The reason I think that this is a good deck choice for the current meta is because going for a more board-centric game plan gives you a stronger matchup in the mirror, as well as against shamans. But the changes in the deck do not really take away from the explosive starts you can have that completely blow out Reno decks, as well as rogues and priests. When playing this version of Pirate Warrior, you have to recognize the strengths and weaknesses that it has and adjust your play from what you would do when using the classic burn-oriented Pirate Warrior. An example would be when you're playing against a Reno deck. You need to recognize fairly early if your start is going to be capable of killing them before their turn 6. If you can get the early kill, then go for it. But if not, you're going to need to switch gears and focus more on board presence. This deck is very capable of beating a deck that goes that lands at turn 6 Reno, but you have to have a strong board presence on that turn. The key is to force them into having to decide between clearing the board and healing, rather than if you go all face and let them get value trades on turns 4 to 6 and then get the heal. If you can keep that board presence, you'll often have a situation where they heal up to 30 and then the next turn they're back down below 15 because you had board, and that's not even using any of like your weapon charges or anything. So against aggressive decks, the addition of South Sea Captains allows your early game pirates to be a very strong board control tool. Your deck is now teched towards board control, and you should be able to fairly reliably win in the mirror matchup, as well as getting some extra percentage points against shamans. The second deck we're going to be taking a look at today is a Control Shaman used in the open tournament lineup of VLPS. I got interested in Control Shaman from a note on the most recent Vicious Syndicate Data Reaper report that cited it as having a lot of strong matchups in the meta, but there wasn't enough data to be certain about their findings. I felt that this was definitely worth checking out, considering that a few weeks ago Reno Mage was in a very similar situation on their report, and now you really just can't doubt the success of the deck. The deck list that I've been using has the Control Shaman Shell, but with Jade and N'Zoth package. The deck has a lot of strong matchups against aggro simply because of having that Control Shaman Shell. Elemental Destruction, Halazeal, Healing Wave, having 6 board clears in general, it's all just very strong against aggro. But the addition of the Jade activators as well as White Eyes and N'Zoth allows you to take games in control matchups. I noticed that there was a distinct weakness against mid-range, although that may have been some errors in my own play. But also that this deck has basically no chance against Jade Druid or any sort of combo deck. But we do know that no deck is good against everything. So we just have to accept that this is going to be quite strong against aggro, weak against combo, and possibly against mid-range. So I'm not really sure what a fully refined version of Control Shaman will look like, and it's likely that this version is not what it will be, but more experimentation needs to be done. The control shell itself is fairly well refined, but it's the details of the deck that are still in flux. Some people are opting for a Malygos combo variant, some go harder into the Jade or N'Zoth direction, and some focus on landing an Earth Elemental into Ancestral Spirit in the classic Crusher Shaman style. I'm going to continue laddering with this and maybe try a few other variations for now, but I'll let you know in a future video how it goes as well as any changes I make to the deck. So that's it for this week's deck choice and meta analysis. If you have any comments, criticisms, or concerns, please let me know on YouTube, Twitter, or Reddit. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you all next time.